Okay, good morning everyone. So today we are going to do basic introduction about different type of rigging bombs. The first one is FK bomb, and the second one is IK bomb, and finally is bending bomb. And in the end of this tutorial, I will show you one example about how we can use in rigging to do some physical simulations. So let's get started. For now, I'm going to use in this basic shape of the cube. And don't forget to turn on your Share VUR. Press N to turn on the side menu and go to Share VUR and turn on this one so that you can see your operations. So for now, I'm going to create a simple arm so that we can using this one to do the rigging. So let's press S and Y to enlarge this one, maybe more, S, Y. And then we need to increase the section of this arm. It doesn't have to be very specific or very detailed, just a simple one will be fine. Let's press Z, switch to the wireframe mode, and press tab, go to the edit mode, go to the edge mode, Control R to increase the sections. And I hope at least it has probably 8 or 6 sections. So I think for now this is fine. So let's press ESC to leave the segments in the same positions. So now we have the arm, and also I want to have the hand as well. So let's go to here, press Shift A again, and create. It doesn't have to be very detailed, so let's just create a cube, and probably press H and Y, S and X. Make this one looks like a arm or something. And let's press tab key, Control R to increase the segment. Leave this one here, and maybe press this, go to the face mode, select this face, and press EX. And also these two face, press EX. Sorry, EZ. Alright, and let's choose this one and press GY for moving. Alright, so let's assume this one is just my simple hand. And because we are going to do the rigging for this arm, so I want to join them. So let's select both of them and choosing join, Control J. And as far as you know, usually here is a one joint and here is another joint, and here probably will be the fixed joint. So in order to do that, usually we have to put more segment on the drawing section. So let's go to the edge selections, select this edge, choosing Shift and Alt key, and you can choose in all of them. Press Ctrl B to increase the sections. Okay, I'm sorry, I suddenly select this one. I don't need them. So let's do not select this part. Let's do it again. Shift and Auto and press Ctrl B, and you can increase. So probably I will do something like this. And for this one as well, let's go to Tab key and Ctrl R, and maybe Ctrl B, press G for moving. Right, so now we have more segment in the middle, in the start point, and in the end part. So let's start to do something about the rigging. But before we do the rigging, also we need to do one more thing. I need to make this model a little bit bendy. So what does that mean? You have to be a little, just like our arms. So let's go to here, go to the vertex, select all of them, and I think it's very simple. Let's just rotate a little bit and move a little bit. Alright, something like that. And if you want, you can also choosing, okay, I want to enlarge a little bit of this one. So we can also use in proportion editing. So with this one, we can enlarge. Okay, something like that. So now at least this arm looks like an arm inside Minecraft or something. Okay, let's go to object mode and rotate this one. Shift C to put everything back, And also I hope the center point could be at the origin of the geometry. So let's go to object, set origin to geometries, and rotate, press R and X to rotation 90 degree. Okay, so now we have everything. So press Ctrl A to apply O transform. So this is the beginning part. So let's take a look. I have already made some notes for you. So the first one is about how to make the FK bone. Alright, so probably we can rotate one more time. So let's press R and Z into 90 degree, negative 90 degree, right here, and Control A, apply rotation. Set the data right here back to the original setting. So first thing is FK bone. FK bone is very easy. So let's take a look. Go to the press number pad 1 and go to the front view. Press Shift A. Create the bones. So where is that? Under amateur, single bones. Let's enlarge this one. Okay. And usually, just like what we did before, the first one would be the root bone. So we need to transform the direction of this one. So here is the upper part of the bone, and press E and we can create another one. And finally press E again and we have the final one. And for sure we can edit the positions of the bone and make sure it fits our model. And just like what we said before, because the joint part, it will be deformed a lot. So here usually we have to put more segments right in the joint part. And it's same for all the different type of model, including face, including animal, or any other complicated organic model. Alright, so now we have this one. Let's press tab key, go back to the object mode. So with this one, let's just do the simple rigging. Let's just select both of them. Select the model first, okay, and select the bone second. Control P, and choose automatic weight. So now it's supposed to work. And if you remember, for the bone, it has 3 different types of mode. First one is object mode. Second one is edit mode. Inside this mode, we can do additions of the bones. And finally, if you are going to do the controlling of the bone, we need to go to pose mode. So for the FK bone, actually it's pretty simple, which means everything will be bound by the root bone. You will follow the root bone to move. So let's try to do that. That's using rotation. So as far as you can see, everything will follow the root bone moving forward or moving for back, something like that. Okay. And as far as you can see, because these two things for now actually they are separated model, so the weight cannot affect the other part, right? But it doesn't matter because for now it's just an example. Alright, so this is about FK bone, and actually everything was connected to the root bone, so you cannot do too much about this one. And usually this one FK bone in English, the full name is forward connected bones. Usually for this one we will just use this type of setting on some normal installations or normal animal movement, simple animal movement, something like that. So that's the things we will do. Alright, so let's move everything back. Let's choosing Auto R and set everything back to the very beginning. Using Auto R, Auto G, and Auto S, you can set your model back to the beginning if you didn't apply the transformation yet, so that you can for sure you can set the model back to the beginning. So here is the FK bone. So now let's take a look of IK bone. So I just copy the arm we have. So press Shift D and move this one to the right side. And because we have already do something the about this model, we have to do the rigging for this model. So we need to clean up this one. First thing, press Auto and P and clear parent. So as far as you can see, the dot line disappear. And second, because we have already applied the weight map for this model, so we need to go to the object data property here and clean up the vertex group. And just like what we said before, every vertex group, it was about which part will be controlled by the bones. So for example, the bone 1 will control this area. So all the vertex of this area, they will be put inside the first group. And for the second part, for the bone 001, all the vertex right here, they will be put inside here. So that's the idea. Now we have to clean up everything. So let's clean up and make sure now this one is gray color. And for this area, we can just do the copy stuff. So let's press Shift D, put the bone right here. And remember, when you are going to control the bones, it's better for you to put the bone inside in the center of the object. Otherwise, the result will look like remote control and you will create some, well, unexpected errors. So that's the things we need to know. Alright, so let's start talking about the IK bone. Again, I have already made some notes for you right here. So if you want to know the specific control or if you want to know the detail about the operations, you can take a look of this one. Here is a memo for you. So let's talk about IK bone. In order to do the IK bone, we need to create one more bone here. So let's go to Edit. And right here, I'm going to using the location function inside Blender. So let's press Shift S and put the cursor to select it. So now the center point has been put inside this joint. And I'm going to create a bone right here. So press Shift A. And right now, as far as you can see, here is a new bone and automatically be generated. Let's enlarge this one. You might wonder why this bone was not connected to this area. Well, that's because here is the end bone and it already connect to another one. So if you want to do another sub bones right here, you have to use E to extrusion rather than Shift A. For Shift A, it will be separate. It will be separated bones. So now we have this one. Let's start to do the IK bone. Actually, IK bone is a constrainer, just like what we taught before. Let's do a quick memo for you. Shift D. First thing, bone is just like a controller for the model. We're using the bone to control the shape and also the movement of the model. And so let's take a look. Let's make a memo for you guys. R. Enlarge a little bit. Okay, cool. So first things, bone is just like a controller for model. And what's the function of constrainer? It's right here. Actually, there are a lot of constraints inside Blender. Also the constraint for model and also for bones. So this part is for bones. Okay? So what's the constraint? What's the function of the constraint? Let's take a look. Constraint is the controller or restrictions for bones. Why is that? As far as you can see, when we are going to move a model right here, right? For example, let's choose this one. This is the arm, so it is impossible for the arm to bend on the other side. That's weird and creepy, unless you are going to do some zombie model, so that it will bend like this. But usually it's impossible, right? So in order to avoid this kind of weird situation, we will using constraint to constrain the movement of the bones. So that's why we have to set up the constraint for the bone, but not always, because sometimes we can just do the controlling manually rather than using constraint. So here is about the constraint, using the controller and the restriction for the bone. Finally, what's the meaning of driver? Driver is not only work for the bone, it can work with almost everything, including the model part, including the texture part, including the VFX part. But for the VFX, probably it will be a little bit too heavy for your laptop. So, but anyway, driver is tools which can work for all the things inside Blender. And what's that for? Driver is the one which we can create a connection in between different systems. Okay, so that's the three different things. Driver, what's the function of driver? For example, I want when I bend these bones, I also want the material of the bone to glowing, or probably it will gradually become transparent. How can we do that? Because bone cannot do that, but we can try to set some connection, set some relationship between the bones and the material. So for example, when I increase the number of the degree for this bone, the transparency of the material right here, it will decrease. So that's the way we can use and create a connection between different systems, between material system inside Blender, the shade editor, and also the rigging and the armature system. That's more about animating part. So that's the functions of the driver. Alright, so that's the quick note which I made for you. Let's put this one here. Alright, so now let's go to the IK bone. For IK bone, because it's a constraint, so we need to go to pose mode. Alright, and first thing is actually we have to clean up the parent relationship right here. So let's choosing clear parent. So now this one can be free. And let's go to pose mode and choosing the target, choosing the end bone, not this one, but this one. So now we have this one, okay? And go to constraint and choosing IK bone right here, inverse connected. So here is the target. And choosing this one, and the bone right here is, I think is bone 01, I guess. And the port target right here. The port target, what's the function of the port target? The function of port target is that this is the one which we can use for point out the direction of the bending direction. So for example, if you want your joint bend in this direction, you have to point out. So that's the function of the pole target. Okay. Okay, but so now you finish the setting just like this. But if you move this one, okay, why it doesn't work? Alright, so that's because we haven't finished the overall setting. Let's go to here. First thing is the target, I match 1. That's the name of this set of the bones. That's okay. And for the bone, the target bone actually is right here. So that's the one we need to use. So let's change this one to bone 003. Okay? So now if you're using the bone 003, well, still doesn't work. Let's do it again. The pole target. The pole target is the one who can point out the bending direction. So for now it's empty. Let's go to here, choosing the bone over 3. Well, it become weird. Why is that? For this one, bone 002. So that's correct. For this one, bone 003. Okay, bone 003 and bone 002. Sorry, bone 002. Yeah, that's right. And now let's move. Well, bend is getting creepy and weird because it bended in the wrong direction. So in order to do that, first things we need to change the pole angle. Why we need to change that? Sometimes it's because the directions of the bone, it has different setting. Every bone when you create, it has some different setting. So we need to base on its own direction to rotate. That's the problem of this one. So let's take a look. I think this one, let's try to use -90, so it will work. All right. And also right here, you can see there is a chain length. It means, okay, right now, if you're choosing 1 or rev, it will affect only this one. If you're choosing 2, it will affect more. So it depends on how long of your bone. But because we only have 2 segments, so it doesn't matter. Okay? And if you change this one, as far as I can see, the pole target, if you change the direction of the pole target, the bending direction will change as well. So make sure it was on the right position. So sometimes, for example, if I rotate this one, well, for now it doesn't work, but anyway, if I rotate this one a lot, you can see, because this one go even more far from out of the pole target, so the bending direction become weird, it become opposite. So when we are going to set the pole target, make sure this one is in the right direction. And sometimes, usually, I will bound this one to probably this direction, or maybe set some constraint for this one. So even when you rotate the entire arm, no matter how you rotate, it will still always be behind of this one. So the things will work like this. So let's try to do this one. Yeah, sorry. Let's move on a little bit back and move this one back. Let's go to the object mode. Select the model, select the bone right here, and Control P. But remember this one thing, because if you just directly use an automatic way, all the bones will be assigned different group. But for this one, usually, actually it wasn't, it's supposed to not working. This one is just a target. So let's go to pose mode, choosing the bone right here, and go to the bone. This green bone, go to deform, uncheck this one. So this one will not be assigned any weight for its group. So let's go to object again, choosing the model, choosing the bones, Control P, and choosing automatic weight. Okay, sorry for that. We should go to the choosing the model, uncheck this one so that you can choose the model and choosing bone and choosing automatic weight. So now it's supposed to work. Okay, perfectly. So final things, let's go to the final rigging setting of this tutorial. Okay, so again, let's copy another model, new model here. And don't forget to clean up the parent relationship. And go to the vertex group, clean up everything. So now we have a new one. So I have a note right here. Here is the note about bending bone. Bending bone, usually we can use in this one to create something fluffy or maybe something soft, flexible material. So that's how it can work, how we can use for that. So again, I will move the center point to this joint. So let's go to tab key, go to face, choosing this one, Shift and S, cursor to selected, go to tab key again, from view, Shift A, create amateur single bones right here. So let's go to edit mode of these amateurs. So let's press tab key, edit, and move this one down. And press E for extrusion, E, Z for extrusion. And for the middle part, it's supposed to be longer. So that's the idea about the bending bone. And final part, E again, just like this. Okay. So what's the function of bending bone? So if you want to create something fluffy or flexible material, if you want to do that, probably you have to create a lot of segment in the middle. It will be really complicated. But so that's not the things we want. So actually we can try to increase the segment in the bones. So let's go to here, choosing this one, this segment, go to the bones, bending bone, and you can increase the number. And for now, you cannot see anything. It's because the display mode is is the normal bone mode. So actually, we can try to choose different type of display mode. So for now, it octane handles. Let's try to using stick or B bones. For B bone, now you can see there are a lot of segments in the middle. Okay, so if you go to pose mode and if we move, okay, if you cannot move, but if you move this way, if you move this part, it will be changed a lot. Okay, so for this one, we can using the bending bone to do the detailed controlling. Let's go back to edit mode. If we press R, so now you can see it will rotations. But if you press G, well, it will move as well. Okay. But if we let's go to the pose mode and take a look. Okay, you cannot move. Why is that? Because this is the end bone and here is the root bone. So the end bone will always follow the root bone to move. So in order to make this one, because this part I think it will be our hand. This part is the arm. The arm is supposed to move with the hand. It's more like a pole target. This is the one which we can control the direction of your arm. So let's go to edit mode and I'm going to create clean up the pairing relationship of these two things. But once you clean up, they will not move anymore. So in order to do that, in order to make the arm follow the movement of the hand, we need to add on constraints. Well, yeah, that's the things we are going to do. We can choose in stretch to right here, stretch to, and choosing the target as this one. And because this is only point out the set of the armatures, so we need to be specific. This is the bone 002, so right here, that's choosing the bone 002. So for now, it's supposed it can move, right? But if you press R and Y, well, it still doesn't work. But for this one, I think it will work, okay? It works fine. So I want to do the same things. I hope this part can do the same thing, just like this area. How can we do that? Let's go to here. Let's go to the bones. Go to the bones right here. Okay, so now we have 10 segments. And there is a start handle and the end handle. The start handle for sure is here. This is the bone, amateur 002 bone. So let's choose this one. And for now it's automatic, but actually we can just directly set. Let's choosing absolute or target, or yeah, absolute will be fine. So I'm choosing bones. And for the end bone, this part will come. Once you choose, you will control this the movement of this area. So let's choose an absolute again and choosing the bone 002. So for now, if you rotations R and Y rotate, or if you move, it will move with your bones. So now we have finished the setting. Let's choosing the model, choosing the bone, and all the things supposed to be assigned the weight of the model. So let's put in Control P, automatic weight. So let's take a look. It will be bending, dun dun dun, and also R and Y. Okay, it works fine. So that's about the bending bone. Usually, I will use this one to create some kind of necktie or maybe something like the tails of the cat, so that we can use in this way to create this kind of fluffy stuff. So finally, we are going to do one example. That's the example about how we can use the rigging to show some physical simulations. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so let's start. First things, let's create a new model. Let's go to mesh and we can choose maybe cylinder. Let's move this one here and create S and Z, enlarge this one, scale up again, S and Z. Go to edit mode, Control B or Control R. Increase the segment more. Okay, and we can use in subdivision as well. Let's use in Control 1 or Control 2 to make this one more fluffy, more smooth. Press R and Y, rotate this one to 90 degrees. It will be easier for you. So now let's get started. Okay, so first things, let's go to edit mode, choosing the face right here, and press Shift S again, put the cursor to these positions. And now let's press Shift A, create the amateurs, single bones. Alright. And let's press S, scale up. Let's go to edit mode of this set of amateurs. Let's press E and X. And you can choose how many segments you want. EX again, maybe two row of faces and one bones. And for the last one, yeah, let's do something like this. Okay, something like that. And let's just adjust a little bit. I want to turn off the proportion editing so that it will not affect the precision of my operations. Right? So now that's the thing. For this one, because I extrude this one from the root bone, so from the start joint, so this one will not be connected to this part, but we still can do something for this. Let's choose this one and choose this one second, Control P, and keep offset. So for now, this one, this object, it will move, follow this area. Okay, so this is the parent. Let's enlarge this one more, something like this. Make sure we have do that again. Okay, keep offset like parent. Alright, so next part, we need to go to post mode and choosing this one, and you can choose in, you can go do that manually and choosing dem track, where's that? This one. Or you can just shift A and C, shift A, C, sorry. Let's do that manually, it will be easier. Let's choose this one because there are too many hotkeys. They are very similar, and sometimes my keyboard cannot recognize that. Let's choose in dem trap, and you have to choose in your target, this one, and here this is the bone 006. That's your target, bone 006. And for this one, do the same things again. Go to dem here. Sorry for that. Let's remove. Here, demp track, and choosing the target. That's the bone 006. For a second, here is the bone 006. Sorry for that, I think we have made something wrong here. Let's do that again. Let's choosing this one and this one, or let's just choosing this one. I'm just choose dem trap and choose here, and this part it will be 07. And this one again, let's choose, go to dem trap and choosing the target, and this one is 006. So what does that mean? Dem track is a constraint, and we can use this one to make sure you won't target to certain object. So which means for now we are going to make this one always target to this part, and this one will always target to the end part. So that's how it works. And let's try to use in more fast way. I didn't do that before. We can use a hard key. Let's choose both of them. The first one, that's the target. The second one, that's the one you want to assign the constraint. And Shift Control C, and you can call out this quick menu. Let's choose in Damp Trap. And let's do that again. Shift Control C, Damp Trap. Let's do that again. Shift Control C. Just repeat it. Okay. So now we have this one. And the next part, we're going to change the influence. What does that mean? It means how much you want to influence this bone by this one. So for example, let's just reduce this one to 0.5. And let's just reduce this one to 0.5. You can increase or decrease. That's up to you. 0.5 and 0.5. Okay. So once you finish, let's take a look. As far as I can see, it will become fluffy. Alright? And I think probably we can make even more fluffy. So let's try to using 0.4. 0.4. 0.4. 0.4. We can using Control and L to copy the property, but this time let's just do that manually, okay? Okay, so even more fluffy. Alright, so now since we have finished the bone setting, this one, well, again, is supposed to not affecting anything, so we have to uncheck the deformations of these guys. So let's go to here. I think it's right here. Uncheck this one. So let's select the model, select the bones, Control P with automatic wave. Let's take a look. If we move, well, it moves fine. If you want it even more better, you can just choose in this one and to increase the segment, but not too much. If you make too much of segment of each bone, the calculation will become super heavy. So you will affect the performance of your laptop. So every segment I just give them 3. Okay, so well, even more fluffy. So for sure, again, you still can do operation for this one. Ooh, something like this. So flat. Okay, like this. Maybe move a little bit. So once you move, it will soon looks like this, like your hair or like your necktie or maybe something flexible, dynamic, fluffy stuff. Okay, so that's all for today. And the last one is the combination practice of this tutorial. Thank you for watching and see you next time.